All right, here we are going live here on my New Earth Rising tour here in Canada. And I don't have my normal sound set up because I'm on the road now. I've left my beautiful abode in Costa Rica, so I have to adapt when I'm on the road. That's why I've got a different microphone and a different setup today. But the plan is to give you some wisdom and then to dive into a sonic activation. Hopefully, the sound will express itself really beautifully. I have some ambient loops, some ambient music that I've composed that I'm going to play for you and sing over to you, Sacred Sound, to align you with this new moon in Taurus portal that I believe is incoming tonight or early tomorrow morning. So yeah, just want to give a quick update. It's been beautiful to be back in Ontario, Canada. I'm enjoying a bit of the chilly weather. I love the energy of the north, actually. I've missed the wilderness up here. I've missed that fresh, cold air, although I know my friends who live here who've endured such a long and arduous winter. That's probably not music to your ears, but I am definitely enjoying it here. And all of my events and offerings on my tour have been absolutely amazing, so fulfilling. I've been connecting with a lot of old friends and making a lot of new friends and new communities all over Ontario. It's been absolutely amazing. So I feel very inspired. And I'm just now coming to you from a beautiful cottage that my friend has rented me in the woodlands near Barrie. And I'm surrounded by beautiful tall trees, and it feels really alive and amazing to be back. And next week I'll be heading off to Europe. So I'm really looking forward to being back in the island of Corfu in Greece, and then on to England for above Passana over my birthday, and then up to Scotland. So, enough about me. Let's get into the wisdom that I've been seeing coming through these days. So, we have the new moon in Taurus. And whenever we come into Taurus, we come into the earth. It is the most earthy sign. It's the most grounded sign. It's the most solid, the most heavy. It's the sign that really roots us. And so I always talk about the earth. I mean, I'm a Taurus rising, and I'm a devotee of Mother Earth, of the goddess Gaia Sophia, the earth goddess, as the Gnostic mystery schools render her. So I'm always talking about the earth, and it's always an exciting moment in Taurus to feel more, inspiration to do so. So I want to share a bit more about this concept of animism, which I've gone on about in the past. And animism is really about realizing that all of this natural world that we're so blessed to call home, that we are so blessed to live in, is suffused with an animating spirit. And this is one of the hallmarks of indigenous wisdom, that this spirit, the great spirit of Mother Earth, infuses all creatures, all elements as well. Stones, trees, even things that we think aren't alive are seen as being alive in an animistic worldview. And this form of intelligence, I would say, animistic intelligence, is really important, and I would say very significant right now to embody and to connect to. Because if you're seeing what's going on in the world as we enter further into this Aquarian age, there's a lot of technology that is being introduced. You know, in my lifetime, we've had the internet, and before the internet, hardly anyone, that I knew of really used computers. And now we use computers like all day long. We're on our screens and, of course, with our smart dumb phones all the time as well. And now with the AI revolution, it's like, wow, it's hooking us even more. And I believe there's more things on the horizon that are going to invite us and maybe seduce us into being more integrated with technology, even a kind of transhumanist reality where technology is actually merged with our human beingness, our biology, even. Now, it's going to be a choice for everyone to make how deep they want to go in that bridling with technology. I know for me and the perspective that I stand for, I'm kind of standing against that and resistance to that because in my studies of the human story, I've become very aware that we're very wounded and we're carrying these wounds unconsciously, generation to generation. One of the gravest wounds that we carry is that we've been severed from this connection to nature. we've been taught to kind of dismiss, to even disdain nature. We've migrated into cities that have become more and more technologically advanced and less inclined to be connected to nature. Animism is one of the ways that we start to heal that wound because the whole sense of animism is based on this animating spirit that we can connect to that weaves us with nature. In a sense, it kind of invites that quantum sense of reality where all energy is kind of entangled, is interdependent. Interdependence is a huge term that the Buddhists love to talk about because in their meditative awareness practices, they were able to drop so deep into reality that they would see this realm where everything is nothing and nothing is everything, where everything was really connected, interconnected, to the point where they would see this living oneness and they would realize kind of words and this, dualistic framework that we live our lives is an illusion, is a maya. And so animism is one of the ways that we can start living that spirit of oneness and we can start healing this wound of fragmentation because we are collectively fragmented and fractured from relationship with nature. And in some ways, this is why the technological augmentation of our species, the techno tyranny, even as some would call it, is becoming so invited and people are allowing it into their lives without much resistance because we have been severed from nature for so long. The wound is so obscured from us. But many of us are starting to reconsider things. So what does animism look like? So for me, I first learned about animism working with the First Nations indigenous peoples of Turtle Island that we've called Canada or North America. And I was very blessed to work with them and we would do fasts and we would spend time on this beautiful land and I remember after we do a sweat lodge ceremony, they would often just send us out to the land and they'd say, just find a spot on the land for a couple hours, no phones, no clock, no watch, and just open up a line of communication. And they really encouraged us to connect to trees, to the water, to the sky, as if they were a spirit community. And of course, I was, raised in a very, materialistic Western colonial society. So while those themes theoretically seemed really beautiful, I hadn't had a lot of experiences like that. At least when I started to reclaim some of my childhood memories, I remembered, wow, there was actually a lot of magical experiences that I had that were quite animistic, where I felt this metaphysical connection with the spirit of nature. But on the land, I started to have these profound experiences, connecting to trees, feeling them communicating to me, even with words. And it just started to open up this incredible world of magical relationships. And then we went deeper into our studies with the animal spirits. So, we were borrowing from various traditions, but the tradition that we were adopting was the Anishinaabe tradition of the seven sacred laws that govern humanity, natural laws of this planet, in fact, that Mother Earth is said to disseminate. And each law is governed by a different animal spirit. And we were going into prayer month by month for 7 months, working with these laws and the animal spirit that presided over them as their disseminator, as their teacher. And I kind of, again, went in a bit like, didn't have any expectations. If anything, I went in expecting nothing to happen because I had kind of a cynical view of myself being raised and groomed in a imperialist society. But that was kind of the beauty of those experiences, is that just the intention and the willingness to humbly open myself to the experiences, things happened. I'll never forget that the first law that we worked with was unconditional love, which was presided over by the spirit of the eagle. And the first time I sat in my backyard, I offered tobacco, I burned some sage, and then I went into prayer. I could see immediately a vision of an eagle soaring down from the sky and landing on my shoulder. And in that month, I had incredible incredible connections with the eagle spirit, and strange synchronicities would come to me. My brother-in-law gifted me this American Eagle shirt with a big eagle on it. You know, things like that that were just like, wow. And this is part of what is known as the meta theme of the reenchantment of the world, revitalizing the magic of the world. And so I really want to leave you with this sense that we need to revitalize our sacred sense of the earth, because we're not going to really take care of this planet unless we understand how beautiful, meaningful, and sacred it is to us. And one of the most epic and beautiful ways that you can activate that is by exploring animistic intelligence. So it could be as simple as just when you're spending time in nature, maybe go and hug a tree and spend some time with the tree. Really like send your energy into the tree. Talk to the rivers, talk to the waters. Open yourself up to receive teachings from animals. Be playful. I mean, it may sound silly, but that's because it evokes this kind of innocent childishness. And let me tell you, it is also this beautiful Joku's joyful world that starts to open up. It's very, very profound. We used to do events in Toronto when I was living there called Tree Talk, you know, where we'd meet in a park in downtown Toronto, like Dufferin Grove. And I'd send everyone out for like 45 minutes to go and find a tree, respectfully introduce yourself to the tree, and then open yourself up to a conversation. And I taught, you know, very simple techniques of just like breathing with the tree, of using like qigong or energy to connect with the tree. And then we come back by the fire, because we were allowed to have a fire in this park in downtown Toronto, which was really special. And we'd share. And sometimes there'd be 20 or 30 people who would come, and like the sharings would be marvelous. And there were so many people that would come that were kind of skeptical, had never done something like this before. And they would have profound experiences with the trees. Some of them would receive like beautiful messages from the trees as if they were teachers. And, you know, the Druids, I have this tattoo on my arm, the Druid tattoo of the symbol of the Alwyn, just to give you a sense of how deep animistic intelligence went for our ancestors. For the ancient Druids, the Celtic priests and priestesses of that ancient realm, you know, Druid means the people of the oak, because when they would go and seek the counsel of nature, they would always meet in groves of oak trees, because they would literally speak to the oak trees. The oak trees, they considered their elders. So this is a component of the eco-spiritual paradigm that indigenous peoples prize, cherish, and cultivate. And each of us have indigenous ancestry. And we need to revitalize this eco-spirituality, and we really need to honor those indigenous who are living today, who have struggled and endured the wiles and the persecutions, the violence of colonialism, because they're still very purely connected to these. And to seek them out as teachers and allies is really beautiful. But to also realize, like, we have our own ancestral connection to indigeneity, which we also, in dual cultivation, need to connect with. I've had one of the most joyous odysseys of my life has been connecting to my Celtic roots and reclaiming the paganism, the ancient nature-worshipping religions of my ancestry, and how much color and magic that's provided in my life is inexpressible. It's so profound. And this is really how we're bringing this new earth, which is not just a New Age prophecy. One of my Anishinaabe elders would go on and on about the new earth, this new era, this new relationship where we're reinvigorating a sacred sense of the earth, of nature, and of ourselves as a part of that sacredness, of that sacred web of life. And part of this is a new octave of eco-spirituality. We don't want to necessarily revert back. There is a lot of beautiful ways to use, for example, the innovations of technology that are in our midst, but it is about regathering the fragments that have been fragmented off, bringing them back and integrating them. And I do believe eco-spirituality is going to become increasingly important, especially as technology gets more and more pervasive and advanced. We are going to need to balance that out with spending time in nature. You know, there's so much going on in the world. There's so much going on in the world stage right now. But truly remember, if you're paying attention to the news, on the internet, in the world, Also know that there's the numinous news network, as I call it, of the earth, of nature. And there's a whole different thing going on there. I mean, according to the Gnostics, the earth goddess is going through an awakening right now. And that story is not being covered by CNN. Hopefully one day. So when you spend time in nature communing with your animistic intelligence and go and speak to the trees, speak to the waters, speak to the animal spirit teachers, the plant medicine teachers, you're getting a whole different information that I believe is just as relevant, if not more so relevant, than the human news that we're getting disseminated in the media world. So we really want to strike that dynamic balance, and it's going to become incredibly necessary to do that more and more as we go into the transformations of our age, because it's going to get very dizzying out there. Okay. I'm going to just set up some sound stuff, and we're going to move into our beautiful ending sonic activation with the new moon in Taurus. So let me just throw on some headphones here. Okay. All right. So if you're still with me and you want to go deep into a mystical sound experience, I'm going to put on some beautiful sound here. So just take a moment to close your eyes. Connect to your life-giving breath. And in lieu of all that eco-spiritual wisdom that I've been dropping, imagine for a moment that as you breathe, this element of air is the breath of Mother Earth herself. So every time you breathe in and out, you are breathing the breath of Mother Earth. She is breathing us. Allow yourself to become so spiritually entangled with this planet Earth. Even if you're inside, surrounded by walls, feel that spirit of the earth, that radiance of her light body, of her world soul, beginning to pervade your space and connect with you. And high up above in the cosmos, we have Grandmother Moon now entering into the new moon in Taurus, this new cycle. Taurus is ruled by the planet Venus as well, so there's a lot of beautiful love and sensuous energy here. And with every new moon, we have the opportunity in what I call the process of psychic gardening to plant some new seeds, some new patterns. And we're in the spring. We've just passed the Beltane portal, so in the northern hemisphere, there's a lot of energy behind us that's giving our intentions and our dreams a lot of support. So start to imagine, as you connect to Grandmother Moon, perhaps breathing her energy in. Start to imagine some of the new patterns, the new creations you wish to bring forth in your life. And I really encourage you to see things that are going to be helping the world, helping your community, helping your family, those transpersonal purposes and endeavors. And as I sing this invocation to activate us in this new moon in Taurus, I invite you to continue dreaming those beautiful patterns, those beautiful gifts coming into beautiful fruition and strident success. beautiful light of your soul shining in your heart. Breathing in a sense of sacred nature, the sacred earth. Breathing in a sense of camaraderie, sacred friendship with all the elements of the natural world. The animal spirit teachers, the plant medicine allies, the trees, the sacred waters, the elementals. Feeling a great embrace with the earth goddess herself. Feeling all of that constellating, shining in your heart as we remember the sacredness of this beautiful world and our universal mother, Mother Gaia. So thank you so much for joining me today on this transmission. Feel free to share this, and I'll be reposting it onto my YouTube channel as well. And may this new moon in Taurus bless you with new cycles, new transformations, new ideas, new dreams to bring forth in your life to serve the greater good. Sending you all so much love. Awen, awen, awen.